class, and welcome to week 2 of Teams and Virtual Teams. I thoroughly enjoyed getting to know you all a little bit more. I hope you got to know each other more through our discussion posts during week 1. Those were really getting our feet wet with what the rhythms of this class will look like with posts and replies and due dates. So great job for those of you that were able to participate. If for some reason you struggled, did not get an assignment completed, and would like to talk to me further about that, please reach out. You can email me and we'll figure out if there's anything that can be done. Again, I want everyone to be successful, but this is a class where we are gonna that's going to require a certain level of participation for us to get the most out of team dynamics. Again, that's what we're aiming towards, of learning how to operate within teams. I also hope that within the first week's worth of material that you saw how these things can happen and have an effect on what we do formally in our work settings and with our jobs, but then also informally with different groups that we're a part of. Again, I hope that as we learn more about ourselves and more about where we fit into group and team dynamics, that we will be able to live in those spaces in such a way that will better reflect Christ to those around us. That's my goal, is to see us all sanctified, better instructed in how to represent Christ to the watching world. I hope that was kind of, as we got our feet wet, apparent to you the broad scale applications here for this material, and we'll continue to see that as we move forward. This week we are looking at groups and groupthink. So again, we're looking at some more of the formal aspects of groups, the terminology and things like that, and then we get into this really fascinating topic called groupthink. It's actually one of the scarier elements of working in groups and teams, where a team or a group can get so insulated and so familiar with one another and have so much pride in being a part of the group that they stop thinking critically about the things that they are presented with and just think collectively as a group, which can lead to disastrous consequences. We see this throughout history on big scale events throughout history, things like Pearl Harbor or the Bay of Pigs, or a video that we'll watch on the Challenger explosion, and we'll see where groupthink really plays into these disastrous moments in our history with big consequences, because the people involved were not thinking critically, bringing their own individual strengths and weaknesses to the group, but rather allowing the group dynamic and group character as a whole to shape how they thought about the issues at hand. We also see this in less formal, less big, less nationwide realities as well. There's a recent podcast that came out called The Rise and Fall of Mars Hill. Now, disclaimer, if you decide to listen to it, it's heavy. There's heavy material, there's language. It's not necessarily something I'd listen to around my kids, but it is a really poignant modern example of groupthink, where the members of this church became so insulated around one another and devoted to the teachings of one particular man that maybe they didn't see some red flags that were there. And so I think the story that's presented at least gives us an example of groupthink that can be evident even in less formal ways like church. Lastly, I want to remind you that assignments are due this Thursday and this Sunday. I will endeavor to have all my grading done by Wednesday of this week at the latest. That will always be my goal. Sometimes with some of our bigger assignments that might get delayed a touch. I don't anticipate that to be the case. My hope is that you always know where you're at before the next set of assignments are due. That way you know kind of how you're progressing in the class. So that should be done by no later than Wednesday. And then we will have a Zoom meeting coming up. That's not required. It's not for a grade. It's just to help you when we get into our virtual team group project coming up in Module 6. So I hope that you will find time to make that a priority when we have that evening Zoom meeting when we get closer to Module 6. So that will probably happen here in a few weeks. Lastly, if you have any problems with any of the assignments, some of you did reach out this week and that was very helpful. We were able to dialogue some. Please email me or reach out. I'm happy to answer any questions, work with you as we're trying to figure things out as you are working through the various assignments. If for some reason you missed something that was going on this week and need to talk, if there's any other options for you, please reach out to me. I can try to work with you as best I can. I can't promise that we'll be able to correct anything, but at the very least we'll be able to get a good game plan for how you can move forward well within this class. So lastly, again, it was a joy to get to know you better. I hope that you continue to bring your own personal experience and personal kind of life stage into the discussions. That makes them rich and fulfilling and really can get us thinking well, bringing your own area of expertise. So I hope that happens here with this week's discussion posts, and make it a great week. Bye, everybody.